So today we have gathered here to worship Buddha. Lord Buddha, as you know, was Gautama, the one who was born in a royal family. And then he became an ascetic because he was very much hurt to see three types of problems from which human beings suffer. And he came to conclusion all these three types of problems are because we have desires. So he said that if you become desireless, then there will be no problem for you. So he studied Vedas, he studied Upanishads, he studies all kinds of things. He went to many saints and many people. He could not get his realization. Actually, he was an incarnation. The incarnation also has to reach a point of realization in a different way. Like the whole potential has to open out. But the incarnation has tremendous potential. And that expresses itself once the door is open outward. Buddha realized the greatest problem of human beings is his ego. In his ego, he goes to the extremes, from one end to another. And so he worked throughout on the Pingala Nadi for us and stationed himself on our ego to control it. If you see on the Agya Chakra, if in the center is Christ, we have on the left Buddha and on the right is Mahavira. All of them are called as lords because they are rulers of these three areas. Now this area of Agya is the area of tapas, is of penance. Because they have done penance for us, we don't have to do any penance. They have done for us everything that is possible. That's how the SahajaYogis don't have to do any penance. They are in a beautiful place, having a nice vibrations. They don't have to go in the jungles, run away from the society and hide themselves in a place where there could be scorpions, could be snakes, could be tigers, could be any danger to life. So the penance part is over, and also Buddha in his lifetime when he was alive, all the time he said there is no need to have any austerities. There's no need to have any austerities at all. If you read Buddha, his early teachings, then you will be surprised that he said there should be no austerities. He himself went through austerities. But that was the time, Samayachar was time, where they needed people who would go all out to do the propagation of his ideas. So most of them took to a kind of a life, but he never believed in any austerities. Moreover, he was not a vegetarian. He died because once he went to a village and he was hungry, and he asked one of the hunters, we call them as kiratas, that I would like to eat now and I have to go for my work. He said that this morning I have killed a wild boar, but it must take some time, otherwise it's very hot blood. He said, doesn't matter. Very significant, right side, to take the red meat of a wild boar without getting it cooled down. He ate it and he died with that. Everything that they do has a meaning. As we find meaning in the life of Christ, we find in the meaning of Buddha also. That is the reason why the Buddhists became vegetarians. Because Buddha died eating that hot meat, they became vegetarians. But that doesn't mean that everybody has to become vegetarian. Those who have ego, is better they are vegetarians. Right side people are better with the vegetarian food, more, and the left side more with the protein. That we know very well. So he tried to control the people who were with him in a way which was very loving and affectionate. But what was the accent in his message is to be understood. There was one boy who came to him and asked him that, sir, will you initiate me into Buddhism? It was not Ism that time. Will you initiate me? He said, my child, only the Brahmins can be initiated, meaning the realized souls. What is your birth? He said, sir, I don't know my birth. So went back to his mother and asked, what is my birth, mother? Who was my father? She said, my child, I was a very poor woman and I didn't know how to exist. So I had many lots. I lived. And I don't know who is your father. You don't know my father? He said, no. So he went to Buddha and Lord asked him, now who is your father? What is your caste? He said, sir, I have no caste because my mother told me that she had many lords and she doesn't know from where I am born, so I don't know my father. So Buddha embraced him. He said, you are the Brahmin because you have told the truth. So the essence of his life is truth. First, we have to be honest to ourselves. And I find some people find it very difficult to be honest to themselves. They know how to escape the truth. They know how to manage. To get out of it, they'll give some argument or they'll give some explanations. Whom are you giving explanation to? Yourself only. Your spirit is residing within you, which is enlightened. in your attention. And now, whom are you explaining? To your own spirit? So the message of Christ may be that we have to resurrect ourselves. But what about resurrection? That you have to be very honest to yourself, first thing. First and foremost thing, to know that your caste is a Brahmin. That you know the Brahma, you know the all-pervading power, you have felt it. You are the real Brahmins. And as real Brahmins, you have to be Spartan. I mean, in India, say we have a Brahmin. They may not be real Brahmins, but born in a Brahmin family. There may have been forefathers, might have been Brahmins or something like that. They call themselves Brahmins, all right. So what is their speciality? At 4 o'clock in the morning, they'll get up. All the Brahmins. That's how you can make out a Brahmin. I am also a Brahmin that way. Then they'll have their bath, clean themselves completely, and sit down for prayers or pujas or maybe meditation. That's how you make out a Brahmin. Though they are not Brahmins, but the tradition. While say a Shudra in India, he'll get up at 9 o'clock. In tradition, wear dirty clothes, put his hands in his mouth, will be a lousy fellow, surrounded by rubbish. He cannot even feel the smell of the filth. Because they have been doing that kind of work. Traditionally, they are not. There are many Brahmins we have found out now who are really born in a Shudra's families. So actually in the Shudra's families as such, it's not by birth but by their aptitude, by their jati, they are Brahmins. But traditionally is accepted in their society. Their hair will be disheveled. You can immediately make out. No oil in the hair, first point. No oil in the hair are all disheveled. Secondly, they are not bothered about sex life. And amounting to the Rakshasas. It's only the Rakshasas who get interested in women, look at women and all that. Actually, according to Puranas, I'm sorry to say, is a quality of Rakshasas. Because when there was the churning, the Manthana took place. And Ambrosa came out of the sea. Then Shri Vishnu knew the weakness of the Rakshasas. They had taken the Kumbha, the pitcher of the Ambrosa, by force, the Rakshasas, because they were more powerful, more egotistical, they could cunning. So they managed with the Devas and took away. And they were about to drink it. So Shri Vishnu knew that weakness of Rakshasas. So he dressed up like a lady, Mohini. Called himself Mohini. Mohini means the one which attracts you by your dress, figure, all this kind of nonsense. And immediately all the Rakshasas fell for her. For him, I mean. Immediately, you could make out between the Devas and the Rakshasas. But say in Greece, they have made Devas into Rakshasas. Solved the problem. And as soon as he discovered that one of them had taken something, it said so in mythology, he went and giggled. And being a Rakshasa, I liked a lady giggled at him and then tried to tickle. Rakshasa, very proud, a beautiful woman coming and tickling me. Oh. As stupid as he was, he felt so tickled that he vomited out. And they say that garlic was born out of that ambrosia. Said so, mythologically. So when I see people in SahajaYoga not being honest to themselves, the first thing they must know, ego, is a very, very cunning stuff. But also it makes you a slave of another ego. See now, for example, a lady would go to these beauty shops, dress up herself, wear these, do all that, I don't know what they do, but they come out of it after 3-4 hours. And look the same to me. I don't know how much money they empty out. But it's something surprising that the hair is cut this time in a different way. So you ask, why did you cut it this way now? That's the fashion. That means you don't have your own ideas. You don't have your own concept. Whatever is the fashion, you just do it. You don't understand also that this is good for you or not. So the ego gets dominated. Supposing there is an entrepreneur, say, very clever and cunning, more than anybody else, supposing. There are many like that, of course. Now he says that you can put a jam tin on your head and tie up your hair like this, and you look very fine. And he puts up lots of advertisement. All his jam tins can be sold. Without thinking they will use jam tins. Means you have no personality of your own. What's the ego? Ego should give you a personality, a character, a temperament. And when you see them, you can't make them out like sick people, as you cannot make out one Sikh from another because they all wear beard and moustaches. You can't make out ladies from one to another because everybody has the same hairstyle, the same style of clothes, everything the same, because it's a fashion. Who has started the fashion? Some very cunning fellow wants to make money. In India we get a kind of a, call it tokni, is a kind of a basket, a small little basket. And suddenly disappeared from the market. We didn't know where it has gone. It's impossible. What can you do with it? It's a very simple thing. It was all in America. Why? The women are using them for their hair. I said, how? What do they do with their hair? No. See, nowadays they don't put any oil in their head. So they have all become bald. You will become bald, no doubt. If you don't put oil, I'm telling you now, you will become bald. So we are austere people, we can't put oil. But then we become bald automatically. You can join any Buddhist organization nicely. You don't have to shave. So they say that we have become bald now, so we have to have something. So they put those baskets, and on top of that they put what you call them wigs. Wonderful. But why? Why don't you put it on your head? No, you must have a nice fluffy hair, you see. For what? But that's the fashion. One day, one lady talking to me, her basket fell down and came down also the wig. And that's how I discovered. So what is this is to understand that if you have your ego really in the real way, you should have your own personality, your character, your understanding, your speciality, your temperament. That's not there. What did Buddha do? He said, get rid of everything, your hair, even your eyelashes, anything that can be shaved off, hands, feet, everything shaved off. Imagine if you are following Buddhism, what would have happened to us? And he said, all right, just wear a kashaya, means saffron clothes. Come with the saffron clothes, with everything shaved. And the ladies could wear only 2 dresses. One on the blouse and one a sari. That's all. No petticoats, nothing. Whether you are a queen or whether you are a sweepress. All of them should look alike. So no fashion anymore. But Buddhists are the greatest fashionable people you could ever think of. If you go to Japan, you'll go mad if you see their fashions. But they're so artificial. I don't know where is Buddhism gone, where Buddha always praised people who were natural. All Buddhism is lost like this into a kind of a wilderness. Another thing, the right-sided people have a problem. Because if you become too right-sided, you neglect the left side, neglect your Muladhara, because, you see, what's wrong? What's wrong? Till you get AIDS, nothing was wrong. Now, something is wrong. Till you get cancer, what's wrong in smoking? What's wrong? I mean, they advertise, even in India, that you look really great if you have a cigar in your hand or a cigarette in your hand. You look like a chimney, but all right. So they pamper your ego by telling you all these things and you start doing it. And in that doing, you just forget that you are a stupid fool. We are going to lose all our beauty if we listen to these cunning people who are entrepreneurs. Take it from me. We had Mona Lisa. These days you don't find her anywhere. No. You have mosquitoes. Horrible. They think they are very beautiful. They don't emit any vibrations. From any angle of aesthetics, they are not beautiful. And by the time they are 40 years, they look at least 80. So, what has happened is that we are playing into the hands of our ego and our Muladhara is lost. Muladhara is the brake, is like a brake. The right side is the accelerator and the left is the Muladhara, which is the brake. What's wrong? That's why Buddha preached brahmacharya, celibacy. Because if you go too much to the right side, now there are many complications. I can hear them for many people, that those who are overactive can't produce children. First, what's wrong? Then, complete dryness. They cannot have children. And if they have children by chance, may turn out to be Rakshasas only. So, too much asceticism can take you too much to the right. That's why Buddha said no asceticism is needed. He said it, though he had people around him whom he looked after, saw to it that they were celibate people, and he is the one who gave them balance and managed them. So once you start going on the right side, you end up automatically like a cabbage. Automatic. You cannot produce children. You cannot live long. Like taking cocaine, you can say. You speed up very much, you become very speedy. And you have to really, to live with them is so difficult, very difficult. Because they move with the speed of a jet and I move with the speed of an elephant. I just look at them going, coming, going, come. I don't know how to relate. So to curb this ego, we have to worship Buddha. We have to worship Buddha. But the first principle is to respect your chastity. To respect Buddha means to respect your chastity. You don't have to give up your wife as you have given, unless and until they are horrid. Don't have to give up your husbands. All of them were without wives. Buddha had a wife, he gave her up. Mahavira had no wife, Christ was never married. But in SahajaYoga you do marry. You have children, no doubt. And as we were saying, that with ego we become, in a way, very much involved into ourselves. So we can say there are three types of people in this world. One, who are not bothered about others. So the first message of Buddha is honesty to yourself. And the first area where one has to see the honesty is in your chastity. You can marry, you can have a wife, you can have a husband, you can have children. So this ego which was first there, creates one type of a person. The person who is just involved into himself. His ambition, his projects, his jobs, his wife, at the most, or his children, his house, his car, maybe his horse, maybe his dog. At the most, if he could extend. Otherwise, if you tell such a person, I'm rather, say, worried about someone, that person will tell me, see, you have done your duty. Now, if that person doesn't want to do it, why should you worry? You should be happy. But how can I be happy? I'm not your type. And such a person also will say that this is my house. So why should I worry about anybody else who has no house? This is my room. This is my carpet. Anybody comes in my house, oh, sit there. Put that there. Such a horribly harsh person. My and mine goes on work. And this ego then spreads more and more and more and more. And then I believe in an ideology like Hitler did it. He must have been hurt by some Jews, might have been. So that hurt he was completely built into a big, horrible prison by his ego, and he wanted to kill every Jew. So this kind of a person that is so involved into himself. I, me, mine, and I am the best. Everybody is a stupid fool. I am the most intelligent. I am the cleverest. I know everything. Like a saying, I was coming by the road and I saw a dacoit. So I ran up to the tree and hid myself. What a great person I am. Then the dacoit came and he threatened me. So I gave away everything to him. What a great person I am. Then the dacoit came and he took away my wife. What a great person I am. Certificate. And he is very happy. Everybody is tired of such a person. Everybody is unhappy of such a person. No one likes. If such a person is coming from this side, most of them will run away from that's coming. We have in India some people of that kind. In every city, well known. Everybody knows them. So now in the morning, people go out for a walk in a garden and they see such a person coming from that side. Oh God, today we will not have our food. I said, why? Most inauspicious person we met today was this one. But he's walking like this. What's wrong? No one likes such a person. You may think no end of yourself. No one likes you. Countries after countries there have been people. Such a collective nonsense it is. Sometimes when you see how so many people were killed in America by the same Spanish people who are today's Sahajogis, can't believe that you are the children of the same Spanish. I mean, you are so different, so beautiful. So what was it that made them so cruel? That ego that built up in them, that they could not see that these are human beings we are killing. We have aggressed their country, we are here, we are killing them, we have no right to be there. Same with the Portuguese. They all disappeared into Brazil while they belonged to Portugal, and Portugal there are only 5% people left. They are not bothered about Portugal, which is very, very poor. Same thing with the Spanish. Those who went to America, so what? We earned our own America, we are here, we have done this, we have done that, we have killed so many people. The Spanish have not killed anyone, so why look after the Spanish? And this is how their ego brought forth such a destruction. When I went to Colombia first time, I don't know, one gentleman knew about me. He asked me, "Mother, are you the one who is known to be a spiritual leader?" I said, "Yes, I am." "So what?" He met me in a party. I was surprised he called me mother. So he said, "Can you bless our country with something that we can outwit these Americans? Let there be something from the nature. We have got wheat, we produce wheat here, and these people want to buy it at such a low price that we can't even maintain our families. It is so low price that we cannot really economically do it. We starve ourselves and sell this wheat to them." So now, in Colombia, that shanty town of Colombia, Bogota, now has become the most developed one. They all travel by first class. And Americans are taking cocaine and washing their feet. This is the reward of the ego. You have to pay the dividend. You have to pay for your ego. And very severely. Try any tricks with your ego. It boomerangs back to you. Of course, in SahajaYoga is the worst. It's the worst. I'm frightened to see somebody riding a horse. Please come down. I must also mention another type of people that there are who are left-sided. They are always complaining. I've got a headache, I've got a pain here, I've got a pain there, I've got this. All kinds of diseases they will have. Like I read a book of Jerome that one fellow read. I hope you people are not in a hurry. So he had described that one fellow went to a doctor, and he said, "Sir, I have all the diseases that are described in Materia Medica, except for one, that is the housewife's knee." He said, "How is it you don't have that?" He said, "Because I am not a housewife." She said, how did you get all these diseases and how do you know? He said, because I read Materia Medica and I found all these diseases are with me. She said, all right, I'll give you medicine, but just now you don't take it. You have to go out from here about 5 miles and there you can take it. So he took the medicine, one in a piece of paper. He went there and he opened it one after another. And he found no medicine. But the last paper was there. On that it was written, you stupid fool, don't treat Materia Medica. Nothing is wrong with you. So the complaining people are another one. And they are really bhutish. Sometimes they are very troublesome. If you just say, how do you do? If I by mistake say, then there's a list of things. Oh God, why did I say such a thing to this person? This list of things, one after another. This happened this morning, this happened, evening, this happened, that happened. Everything happens to them. And the food was so bad and they treated me so badly and the Sahajogis were so bad and they didn't take me there and they troubled me so much and I was left alone, nobody bothered about me. And they are very cruel to me and this leader is very harsh to me, he doesn't treat me well and this, please remove this leader, and he did this and did. What did he do? He didn't allow me to take water. Why will he not allow you to take water? Something stupid like that, they'll tell you. Sometimes I feel, where are those great saints lost? Who were the third type of people who didn't care for themselves and who were not involved in them, but they were involved in others, who were bothered about others. What's the trouble of another person? What is the trouble our leader is having? How am I behaving towards the leader? What am I doing to him? Am I of any help to him? Have I given realization to anyone? Have I given any money properly to him? Am I sensible, or I trouble him all the time and then I go on complaining to mother? These people can never be satisfied. One is over-satisfied, the another one is never satisfied. And the one who is in the center is least bothered to find out whether he is satisfied or not satisfied. He just wants to see the satisfaction of others. And that is what is to be seen in Buddha's life. How he was and how he respected. So the people who today are worshipping Buddha should know that his message of truth, which we know through our right side, through our attention, must be applied to ourselves first of all. People will tell me, Mother, his vibrations are not all right. This house has no good vibration. That has no good vibrations. And the fellow himself is shaking before me, like this. And I say, what about your vibrations? Oh, I'm getting too much. But I'm also getting too much, so please. The problem with Sahajogis sometimes is that they don't know the importance of what they are. They are not aware. If their ego was correct, in that ahankara, ego, the essence of it is aham bhava, is that I am a Sahajogi. I am a Sahajayogi. Now keep the point of honesty with it. Honestly, I am a Sahajayogi and I am a follower of a religion which is a universal religion which is innately built myself. There's no hanky-panky about it. It's my experience and I believe in it fully. And it's innately within myself. This is the Aham Bhava. I don't know what is in the English language. It could be I-ness. I-ness. Then I am on this earth now. This life is for the work of God. And for that, I have to be a pure person. Because I belong to Vishwa Nirmal Dharma. I have to be pure. I have to achieve my purity through meditation, through every way, watching myself. I have to be a pure person. And if I am a Sahajayogi, if I am united with that all-pervading power of love, I should be the medium to give that love to others and compassion. I have no time for other things. Other things are of no value. My attention has to be pure. My life has to be pure. I say one thing, do another thing. I cheat myself morning till evening. Then I have no I-ness. I have no self-respect. If it is possible, why not manage something free? Say, if mother has a house, let's go and have some nice time there. After all, it's Nirmala house. So we can have something free. No self-respect. We let us save some money if possible here and there. No self-respect. There are people I know of that kind. Supposing we come for 2 days to Ganpati Pule, Mother, will you charge us for 1 day? Very common. Who is going to pay? I have to pay. At least for my food, for my stay. I have to pay. It's not like Buddha's time when they had to give up their whole kingdom. Everything to Dhamma. Every pie, everything that they had, even their hair, I think. Everything to Dhamma. And just come absolutely bare. No children, no wife, no father, nothing. That was Buddhism. That was Buddha's style. He had his disciples like this, and they used to walk miles together to preach from one place to another in thousands. What an impression it must be on people when they see all this. Today's puja is very important because I feel Western countries have gone off with their ego and they need Buddha very much. And they like also this so-called Buddhism very much because, you see, they can then just hide behind that camouflage. We are Buddhists, you see. They'll worry about Afghanistan and they'll worry about Lama, they'll worry about all other people because, you see, we are Buddhist. But there's no truth in it. No truth. Sahajogis have to establish that truth. That dedication. So, Buddha has said, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I bow to all those who are realized souls. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. I bow myself to my dharma, that is Vishwanirmala Dharma. And then lastly is Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. I bow to collectivity. In these three things he has solved the problems of all three types of people, if you see that. First is the Buddham, the one who is a realized soul. All the realized souls are to be respected, to be surrendered to. I find one Sahajayogi talking about another Sahajayogi in a very funny manner, for nothing at all, no respect. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I surrender myself to all the Buddhas. Now there are 8, I counted, but we have so many. All Buddhas sitting here. Those who have known, those who are Gnostics, who are Vidas, Vidvanas, are sitting before me. So I surrender myself to them, as he says, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. You must respect every Sahajayogi, whether he is from the black race or a white race or a blue race, whether he is from Spain or from Italy or from India or from any other place, whether he is from Jew religion or from Islamic religion or any religion whatsoever, whether he is a legitimate child or illegitimate, whether he comes from aristocratic or a rich or royal family or from the poorest of poor, whether he has money or no money, whether he is unwell or he is all right. Whether he had a very bad past. Everything has to be forgotten. The past. They are all Buddhas, and all the Buddhas must be respected and surrendered to their wishes. I mean, I surrender to your wishes all the time. I become now so desireless that I have to tell you that you better desire. Otherwise I am useless. I have no desires. As if my power of desire has gone into your heads and I have nothing left. So you have to desire. Then the Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami is very important. What have we done for Vishwanirmala Dharma? Whatever needed for the work of Vishwanirmala Dharma, whether it is money, whether it is your house, any possession, whether it is labor, any kind of labor, I see some people will do every sort of work. And some people will never do it, whatever it is. So we should really have a rostrum. For example, one day all the leaders must sweep. Second day all the ladies must sweep or do something. So that when you have full idea as to how to respect each other, also when you start doing something, then you really have respect. Very easy to criticize others. I have seen people who can't write 2 lines, can criticize Shakespeare, can criticize Tukarama, can criticize Ganeshwara. 2 lines of poetry you can't write. What are you criticizing? They can't paint even with one color, are criticizing this, criticizing that. I mean, how can you criticize anybody? The one who has given no realization to anyone, done nothing, is criticizing the leaders. But they have given realization to so many people. How many people you have given realization? Please do little bit at least like that person, then you can criticize. Everything is done through criticism. I think that is the worst thing that we can do to ourselves, because criticism only is the very depraved ego which takes to. There is no ahambhava, there is no I-ness. Alright, he has written such beautiful poetry, I'll also write. No. He's written, but there's something, this is not correct. Baba, you write first 2 sentences like that. Mother, his English is alright, but still, but what about your English? Or your Spanish? Do you know Spanish language? No, then? If he doesn't know English, why should you criticize? So the criticism part has killed all art, as I have told you, killed everything, killed all our creativity, killed our personality. We are all the time shaking. Nobody is going to be there like Rembrandt or like Michelangelo or Barbini. Nobody. Because you make anything, criticism. In Australia, they made a very beautiful, I must say, one of very sweet things they made. Like, you can call the ship with, क्या कहते हैं? Sails. A building there for their opera. Even till today they are criticizing it. And whenever they have to give any picture of Australia, they give that picture. It's like they call Marie Antoinette. And if you have to go and see anything beautiful, you have to go and see a palace. Criticism is alright if you are an expert and a master. Alright? A master has a right, of course. But you haven't got even the slightest of that art. How can you criticize? So this depravity of the ego, you can see in the life of Buddha, who was light, who was enlightenment, who was compassion, who was knowledge, who was joy. In his life, you see, he never criticized anyone. He left it to me, this horrible job of criticizing all the bhuts and rakshasas and devils. He just took an easy gear course. Why to fight the wall? Leave it alone. I wish I could do that, but could not. I tried. First 3 years I tried. But you just can't help it. You have to fight it out. But you don't criticize each other. I feel very hurt myself. As if my one hand is criticizing another. I can go on talking about Buddha for days together. There's no end to it. He's the one who has taught us so many beautiful things by his own life. And if we have to really imbibe his spirit within ourselves, we have to have that detachment. From within. As every religion is ruined by the followers. Buddha, who said don't worship even, don't talk of God. He said don't talk of God, just talk of self-realization. First let them have self-realization. And don't worship anything. He said just don't worship, because he knew there was nothing to be worshipable. But they have got stupas, and they worship this, they worship that, and worship this, end to it. They said these are the teeth of Buddha. I mean, how can you have teeth of Buddha? I mean, when Buddha died, do you mean he took out his teeth or what? This is Buddha's teeth they are worshipping. There's no vibrations, I saw it, it was nothing. I can understand hair or nails, but his teeth are everywhere being worshipped. I know my Sahajogis cannot spoil much of Sahajayoga. If they do, they will lose their vibrations. So be careful on that. But with ego, I have seen people, even they lose their vibration. No, I'm alright. Oh, I'm getting all the vibration. I'm alright. And here is such a big... Befooling yourself is the job of ego. So be careful. I'm alright, nothing wrong with me. On today's great occasion, let us think of the hazardous time he had and the way he has created for us this Sahaja. That we are bathing in the light of their compassion, their hard work, their dedication, their sacrifices, all that. The truth is going to make us beautiful. May God bless you. Are you feeling very hot? All right. You can put your hands towards me. It's air conditioner working. I am feeling frozen here actually. I am just thinking all these beautiful things you have given me. Buddha never had them. He never had any comforts. So now we have to show that we are worthy. That's the word he used, arihant. Arhant, the worthy. Are you worthy? Worthy of Sahajayoga. We have to be worthy of Sahajayoga. Arhant is the word. चलो पूजा का शुरू कर. Should we have the puja now? तो पैर बिल्कुल ठंडे हो गए. Talking about Buddha has cooled me down completely. एकदम बर्फ, ice. Put your hands like this, all of you, while doing the puja. And you don't have to close your eyes during puja, it's very important. And also not to put down your heads, because you are all Sahajogis. Feeling very cold, I don't know. What about you people? Feeling hot? No. It's good. I tried to change. Sometimes I overdo it, I think. I did it 21 times. All right. So the puja should start with the Spanish people. Jose, come along. But you have no wife, but it's all right, doesn't matter.